Kim Stephen Bardrum Ryholt is a professor of Egyptology at the University of Copenhagen and a specialist on Egyptian history and literature. He is director of the Research Center Canon and Identity Formation in the Earliest Literate Societies under the University of Copenhagen Program of Excellence and curator of the Papyrus Carlsberg collection and director of the associated publication, Research. One of his most significant publications is a 1997 book titled The Political Situation in Egypt During the Second Intermediate Period c. 1800 to 1550 BC. Aidan Dodson, a prominent English Egyptologist, calls Ryholt's book fundamental for an understanding of the Second Intermediate Period because it reviews the political history of this period and contains an updated, and more accurate, reconstruction of the Turin Canon since the 1959 publication of Alan Gardner's Royal Canon of Egypt. It also contains an extensive catalogue of all the known monuments, inscriptions and seals for the kings of this period. Ryholt's study makes note of numerous recent archaeological finds including the discovery of a new Hyksos king named Sakir-Ha, the find of a Dorjambet Gebel Antif in the mid-1990s which establishes that Sekemre Shedtawi Sobekam Saf was the father of the 17th dynasty Theban kings Antif I and Antif VII. He also discusses Ahmoses Unwertes Teller document. The book also argues strongly that the 16th dynasty of Egypt was made up of poorly attested Theban kings such as Nebiri-or I, Nebiri-or II, Suron-Rebebi-Ankh and Sekemre Shedwist, who are documented in the last surviving page of the Turin Canon rather than minor Hyksos vassal kings in Lower Egypt, as is generally believed. Among the most significant discussions is Ryholt's evidence that Sekemre Kutawi Sobekotep rather than Ugaf was the first king of Egypt's 13th dynasty, and a discussion of the foreign origins of the Semitic 13th dynasty king named Kondia, whose reign lasted a minimum of 4 years and 3 months based on dated workman's control notes found on stone blocks from his pyramid complex. The most controversial conclusion concerns the identity and dating of 14th dynasty. Ryholt, like Manfred Biotak, argues that it was a forerunner of the 15th dynasty, but differs in regarding it as contemporary with the 13th dynasty from the latter's founding around 1800 BC until its collapse in c. 1650–1648 BC. This is contested in review of the book by Daphne Bentor and James Susan Allen. Ryholt's proposal that King Sheshi, Amuahotpra and Yakbim Sekar Onra were also rulers of the 14th dynasty is contradicted by Bentor's study of the known strata levels of their seals, which, in her view, indicate that they date to the second half of the Hyksos 15th dynasty and are not contemporary with the 13th dynasty. Sheshi, Jakbim and Aamu are more likely to be Hyksos vassal kings in the Delta. Therefore, not all of Ryholt's conclusions have been accepted by Egyptologists. Ryholt has since suggested that Sheshi, one of the best attested kings of the 14th dynasty, was contemporary with the early 13th dynasty on the basis of an archaeological deposit at Uro-Nata where a seal impression of this king was found, together with impressions of 2 early 13th dynasty Egyptian kings. However, Bentor has posited that the context of Mibasheshi seal is not secure and that it was most likely a New Kingdom seal impression. According to Bentor, Reiser reported that 2 additional seal fragments among the Uro-Nata sealings most probably display 18th dynasty designs. This would corroborate the occurrence of 18th dynasty intrusions among the bulk of late Middle Kingdom seals at this site. The likelihood of New Kingdom intrusions into the Uro-Nata context was confirmed by Yvonne Markowitz, and also acknowledged by Reisner, notes Bentor. Therefore, the Uro-Nata context is not secure since it bears scarab seals bearing New Kingdom dynasty type, which means that the Sheshi seals found there should not be used to date this Asiatic king to the early 13th dynasty. Bentor stresses that the use of Second Intermediate Period scarabs for sealing in the 18th dynasty is attested at Tel el-Dabar, where a significant number of such examples were recently found in archaeological contexts dating from the reign of Thutmose III. Ryholt is also the author of books and articles about Demotic papyri and literature. Turin Canon. Ryholt is regarded as one of the best scholars on the study of the Turin Canon. Having examined the document in person twice, he has published new and better interpretations of this damaged papyrus document in his aforementioned 1997 book and in a ZAS paper titled The Late Old Kingdom in the Turin King List and the Identity of Nitocris, and has published a detailed discussion of the nature of the document. Ryholt reportedly intends to publish his study of the Turin King List in the near future. Works. The political situation in Egypt during the Second Intermediate Period, 1800 to 1550 BC. The Carsten Niebuhr Institute of Near Eastern Studies, Copenhagen 1997, ISBN 87-7289-421-0. The Story of Peti's Son of Petatnum, and 70 Other Good and Bad Stories. The Peti's Stories 2. Narratives from the Tebtunis Temple Library.